how do you find someone's will after they've passed away? So this is very common. Someone's died. You think they have a will. They told you they did a will, but you just can't find it. Or you don't know 100% that they did a will, but you just think, hey, that's, my uncle, he was the type of person, he checked all the boxes, he did everything correctly. I know he had a will. And I get this call very regularly. So I'm just gonna give you 5 ways, 5 things that you can do to try and locate the will. And hopefully if you're in this situation, one of them works for you. The first one, pretty obvious, check the home. Most people, in my experience, they keep their will, they keep their last will and testament at their home along with some sort of important document. So my guess is you probably looked there if you've been able to access the house. So I don't need to say too much about that one, but that's going to be the first place that I'm going to look is check out their house, their apartment, and see if you can find it. Number 2, the bank. Now, this one's a little more difficult because you might not be able to get access to it, but they might have a safe deposit box. And I always advise my clients, do not leave your will in a safe deposit box, but I hear people do it all the time. That might be a place to start as well. Now, what you could do, now the bank might not give you access to the safe deposit box, but you might be able to find, if you can find out that they had a safe deposit box, that might be an avenue to explore. And again, this is where it's a little bit tricky because the bank will not always give you that information. You might go in and say, hey, did my mom have a bank account here? And they might not give you that information. Maybe you can find some documents at their house that says they had a safe deposit box and get some sort of an idea there. But banks might be the next place to look. Number 3, did they have an attorney? Okay, so sometimes the attorney will either keep the original or hopefully they at least keep electronic copies of it, right? So they might keep wills at their office. Again, you might not know who their attorney was. That becomes a challenge. Hopefully your parent or whoever, they've given you some sort of an idea, or you had a family attorney and you knew who it was or whatnot. But an attorney, a law firm, maybe they keep a copy of the will and they can point you in the right direction. Now, if you're in a big town, my primary office is in Miami. If your loved one passed away in Miami, there's thousands of attorneys, so that could be a very big task to call every single estate planning attorney. But hopefully that's not the situation. But if you hopefully you can find some sort of direction as to whether or not they had or didn't have an attorney. Okay. Number 4 is the probate court. So sometimes wills will be recorded with the court. Now, not all the time, not usually. So, but if for example, dad died in Miami-Dade County, he was living in Miami-Dade County, you might want to call Miami-Dade County Clerk of Court and find out, number 1, if a probate has been started, okay? Or number 2, if there's a last will and testament on file for your father or for the person. So sometimes I have seen it where, the person created a will and then they gave the will to the clerk to hold on to. Not as common now. I've definitely seen it happen. If a probate's been started, it's very likely that they've got a copy of the will. So number 4 is you contact the clerk of the court, usually in the county where the person resided or died. That would be where I would look. And number 5, getting more common, but still not all too common, are will registries online. So I personally don't use them, and I don't think I've ever recommended that my clients use any of them. But there are online will registries. You pay a fee, and they will give you information as to whether or not the person recorded their will online. That might be a place to look as well. And you just have to kind of Google and find some of these, and hopefully you get lucky. The short answer is there's no perfect answer to this. Wills do not have just a master database where everybody's going to put them. They don't have to be recorded. So it can leave you searching for a while. But hopefully those 5 places are a place to start or a place to continue if you've already started the process. My suggestion, if you're in this situation, is if you have a will, let your loved ones know that you have a copy of it, that you have a will, and where they can find a copy of it, who your attorney is, so that in the future, they don't have to go what you're going through.